Okay, quick power supply update. After my previous post on Instagram, some of my followers let me know that I did not have to use a full bridge rectifier. I could have just used two diodes, one at each end of the secondary winding, and have grounded the center tap, and I would have gotten the same DC output voltage at the rectifier. So basically, I should have followed the original AX84 schematic. Instead, what I did was this. I only used one of the ends of the secondary winding and I left the other end open, and I had the full bridge rectifier across the center tap and one of the ends of the secondary winding. Now the problem with this is that this could cause the transformer to run hot, and it could end up in, unfortunately, in fried transformer windings, and that is not good. But the reason I did that was I incorrectly assumed that if I used the entire secondary of the transformer, my rectified voltage, my DC voltage, would be equal to the secondary output voltage across both ends, which is around 500 and something volts. Of course, that is not how a full wave rectifier using a grounded center tap and two diodes works. I would have basically only the negative swing would have been inverted, and it would have been the same output as my full bridge rectifier anyway. So that was a complete waste of time on my part to re-engineer that and try to use the full bridge rectifier. And so I have corrected it now. I have gone back to the way it's supposed to be, using two individual diodes and the grounded center tap. Okay, so I managed to get these old school Bakelite valve sockets locally from Pearl Electronics in Lamington Road, Bombay. I originally had a few of these ceramic ones on order from China because I only had one with me, but they were taking forever to arrive, so I decided to see what I could get locally. And I don't know if these are as good as the ceramic ones, but I've got two of the same. I did not want to have a mismatch, so I did not want to have one ceramic socket and one Bakelite, so I've got both of the Bakelite ones. And yeah, so I was finally able to get started with wiring up the heaters. Okay, the heater wiring is done. We have the blue and white wire from the 6.3 volt winding of the power transformer coming in, going to the LED indicator light. The voltage dropping resistor is underneath that heat shrink, and in parallel to that we have the 6.3 volt twisted wires going to pins 4 and 5 of the EL84. The voltmeter is connected there, and we have 7.45 volts, which is high, but that is without a load since the tubes are not plugged in. And the connection then proceeds to the 12 AX7s. Pins 4 and 5 are tied together, and the other side is tied to pin 9. So the heater windings are in parallel. I've also made some changes to the power supply. So let me turn this off so we can take a closer look. Okay, so now to the power supply updates. The mains earth lead is no longer grounded onto the power transformer washer. Instead, it gets its own little terminal over here on the chassis. So that is a much safer connection. and the two 1.8k resistors in parallel, which made up the 900 ohm R16, the main voltage dropping resistor for the B plus. Those have been replaced with two 2.2Ks, giving around 1.1K in total. This drops the B plus down a little bit more, and also I have moved the resistors further away from the tach strip as I had some issues with arcing. In fact, I kind of goofed up when I wired in the previous resistors, and I don't know if you can see it, but a little bit of the ceramic, I believe it is ceramic insulation around the resistor. I believe these are metal film resistors. If they're not, I've been bamboozled. But anyway, bit of the coating got burnt off while I was soldering these on, or while I was soldering the other stuff on, because these were basically in contact with the tach strip, and that was causing some arcing issues. So that has been resolved, and while I was at it, I also increased the value a little bit to get a lower B plus, because with the amplifier connected directly to the mains without the dim bulb current limiter, I was getting a little bit too high B plus, so I thought I'd drop it down a little bit.